Hello, I'm John Humphrey, and I'm the drummer for Seether.
Well, thank you so much for joining me backstage here at Uproar. First off, it's such an eclectic mix of bands at Uproar this year. How are you guys feeling about the tour so far?
I think it's great. I think it's a good lineup, and I think for the concert payer, it's a lot of bang for your buck. You know what I mean? I think it's really great when a lot of bands in similar genres can get together and do something like this. At the same time, I don't think we all have the exact same fan base. So hopefully, even at the level we're at, it's an opportunity to win some new fans, maybe play in front of some people that we normally wouldn't, and maybe steal some other bands' fans.
Of course, why not? Share the wealth.
It's all fair in rock and roll, right?
Absolutely. So, when you're out on the road and you have, all these diverse artists around, everybody's playing rock and roll, obviously, but, do you ever pull influences from each other? Do you find that happens?
Sometimes. We're only, what is this, the fourth show, I think, just kind of, into it. But I think as you go out and watch the other bands, I think that kind of subconsciously kind of happens, It definitely spirits you to go out there and see Skillet, a great band like go out there and just kill it, and makes you want to go, all right, man, no screwing around tonight. We've got to get up there. Not that we would do that, but, definitely it's a great energy to have, to spur you on to get up there and put on a great show,
Absolutely. So what's one of the biggest challenges with life on the road?
Oh, I think we were speaking earlier. I think it's just being away from home. I have family, and I think you miss family a lot, and so you use a lot of Skype and text on your phone a lot, and catch up on Instagram or Facebook or what have you. So I think that's the hardest part. I think it's the family, behind at home.
So, speaking of social media, I brought that up a little bit, but to me, it's been one of the biggest changes within the music industry is the uprise of social media and the effect that that's had on artists and the way they communicate with fans. What kind of effect has that had on Seether? What have you guys seen that change?
Yeah, that's something we've definitely had to kind of get into. You're absolutely right. I think in the last 10 years, easily, it's one of the number one change in the music business and how things sort of operate now. And we're not always great, about taking a picture of our breakfast and then tweeting that and talking about how great the buffet it is, a freaking Holiday Inn, I don't know. I think sometimes it's a little self-involved, but I understand, the concept of letting the fans know what's going on in our life and the touring world. We've also, as band, as individuals, we've done the AMAs, the Ask Me Anythings. I've done them with Twitter, and I think that's great. I think it's cool that a band, you could talk to, your favorite band directly. If I were able to do that with some of the bands that I grew up listening to, I was doing, looking back on the back of the record for fan club information, a P.O. box, and hoping you'd get a reply, which in most cases you didn't. So I think if you can actually directly, on a keyboard talk to somebody sort of that way and ask a question, I think that's pretty cool. So in that respect, I think it's nice.
Because that type of interaction, just like you were saying, you wish that could have been done like with bands, like years ago, and now that stays with a fan forever. Like they remember those types of things. Is there any kind of off the wall questions you guys have gotten? I know those AMAs, especially on Reddit, can be like ridiculous.
This dude was teasing me, and he was like, I was asked questions about, what's your favorite song to play live, or what kind of gear do you use, or whatever. And this guy was like, I'm high on acid. Tell me what to do. I went, well, go grab a beer, buckle in, and sit tight and enjoy the ride. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Just don't tell him to drink orange juice.
Right. Eat a chocolate bar and drink orange juice.
Yeah. That's great. So, obviously, Isolate and Medicate has been out for a little while now, and Words as Weapons is doing quite well. I think the song is so fitting for, the time that we live in now with the internet age, and so many people hide behind words, especially in the digital age. What kind of went into that song and choosing that for the single?
I think... ironically, it just sort of became the first single. We had recorded that song with a group of songs. It was initially intended for our best of, the Seether 2002-2013. And we felt that it was sort of an evolution for us. Musically, it was sort of the next step. And funny enough, we didn't feel that it fit with the group of songs that we were putting, of the new material we were adding to that sort of best of. So we held it. And it became the first single, ironically. But lyrically, I think you're absolutely right. I think it definitely lends to today, our society, and the cutting words that can be said or used by somebody in complete anonymity, hiding behind a keyboard, saying things online that they wouldn't dare say to you, right in front of your face. And so that does bother me, and I think that in that respect, it's very, very fitting.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. So, do you ever get a feeling, though, during the record? I mean, I know you said you held that song in particular, but have you ever surprised by which other songs fans tend to gravitate towards, like where you thought it would be something else?
Yeah, absolutely. I was asked earlier in the interview, did you know what the singles were, or do you, and we really don't work in that way. We really handed the album over to the label and went, okay, here's the album. And they kind of went, well, this is the order. These are the songs we think are singles. We really try to make every song the best as possible. It sort of goes through us as a filter amongst us, and in this case, our producer, Brendan O'Brien, and making songs that we like as a band. And would we like this if we were listening to this? You know what I mean? We kind of make it for us. It's just a super added bonus that a lot of people also like it as well, and that it's as received as well as it is after all these years. To still be able to do this and put out this music and have people be here tonight, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So, I mean, how do you feel about the evolution overall of the band to this point? I mean, even to have material, to have a best of album and everything is just incredible.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. I've been with the band a little over 11 years now, and Sean and Dale 15, and we've played with bands, toured with bands, peers that are no longer here. And bands have come and gone, and we're still here. And I take pride in that, man. We've worked hard. We've toured relentlessly and toured all over the world, and and it's been just sort of a gradual, upward trend, thankfully. And I think it's great we're still here. Yeah, it's definitely a rarity,
Absolutely. So when did music first begin speaking to you?
I was young. I was that weird kid. I was about 4 or 5, really. I had a little portable record player I towed around and some records my mom had given me, but it started really early on. And my mom was, I was so little trying to figure out, so she started me a piano, and then it was a guitar, trying to figure it out. Finally, I was in middle school, and I saw a drum corps, and these guys were doing cadences and stuff. I was intrigued. I loved it, and would watch drummers and just fell in love with it. I had to beg my father for about a year and a half for that drum set.
How reluctant were they?
We've already done the piano, buddy. We've done the guitar. Now you want a drum kit? Okay. But I didn't give up. And then finally, after all, they gave in, and obviously they're my biggest fans now. They're very
amazing.
They were a little questioning, after high school. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to get in a van with some guys and go tour and go play for a living. But anyway, they're my biggest fans, and it's great.
That's fantastic. So if there was one thing that you could change about the current state of the music industry, what would it be?
Gosh, I don't know. I wish it weren't so single-oriented, you know what I mean? It's not so much like that in Europe. And I've
had several bands tell me that there is a difference. Like people they tend to take an album as a whole and, get that, listen to it like one song right after the other, like into the other.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, we take pride in the entire album. And I know a lot of people will, I've bought albums in the day for the 2 songs I liked and the rest were crap. But I really feel that we try to put together the best album, and not always the singles are completely representative of the band and the entire picture, you know what I mean, the big picture. And so with the U.S., I wish it weren't so singles-oriented. It's very much like we've gone back to the 50s and 60s in that respect, But
I feel like it's a cycle almost, and I feel like it will recycle. I mean, we're seeing this resurgence of vinyl start to come back, which is amazing. I mean, I miss liner notes, and I mean, if you had told me years ago I could get an album on a little card at Best Buy, I'd be like, you're crazy, It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I love vinyl. It's funny that you mention it, but I think you have to be, as a listener, invested when you're listening to vinyl. You know what I mean? You've got to take care of it and put it out and put it delicately onto this turntable. Listen to it, you turn it over. That's right, artwork the way it should be, 12 inches by 12 inches, Liner notes you can read. You don't have to get out a magnifying glass for. I think vinyl's beautiful, and I do like, you're right, in cycle, that one's come back. I think it's great.
Absolutely. I think, hopefully it's here to stay, but I feel like it will cycle again.
I guess that's the way it goes.
Absolutely. So what are the plans for after Uproar?
Touring. We'll go to Europe November and December, finish off the year, and then Australia, New Zealand, beginning of next year. There'll be another U.S. headlining run of our own. And yeah, lots of touring, even discussion possibly of South America. So fingers crossed. Have a lot of fans at Facebook and stuff that write to us that hope, and we've wanted to for years to get down there. So hopefully we will.
But is there any areas that you'd like to visit?
Yeah, that in particular, South America. We've never been. Love to go there. So hopefully that'll be the case.
Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. Is there any comments you'd like to share with our site visitors or fans?
No, just thank you guys for all the support over the years, and hope to see you out there on the road.
Great. Thank you so much.